Generation Dialogue Forum in Kaur, Lower Salem. The forum was meant to engage young people and their elders to help strengthen the practice of healthy traditions and cultures of the country. Rohibite reports.
Maintaining cultural values is considered critical in helping youths to know and appreciate who they are and their background in order to become responsible citizens. The National Youth Council and the UNDP engaged the youths and elders of the Central River Region North in a day-long intergeneration dialogue in Kaur. Young people, they say, are gradually losing their cultures and values as Gambians due to various reasons, among them the influence of Western cultures and education. This is said to be hampering their responsibilities as good ambassadors of the country, whose efforts, if failed, will also affect the next generation.
The young people, as we believe, could play a greater role in the development of the nation. As we always say, we are the cream of the society. We are the future leaders. But we are not only the future leaders, but we are the leaders of today and the makers of tomorrow's generation. You people have prepared us today to be able to take up the lead, because yesterday you planned for today. And that's why we are able to have responsible adults in front of the young people guiding us. We, the young people of today, have a responsibility. And once we fail our responsibility today, that means our tomorrow's generation are going to fail.
As partners in development, the UNDP has contributed immensely to the development of the youths of the country, which, as Mama Ding Dao, Program Finance Associate of UNDP Gambia, reiterated, will continue to expand in many areas. He, however, urged young people to be responsible for their lives. Honorable Pamalik Sise of Lower Salem decried the engagement of young people in drug abuse and trafficking, their code of dressing, and lack of support to the elders as loss of cultural values, behaviors that are stark contrasts to those of young people in the past. Interactive sessions with the likes of Alhaji Sering Faye of Grts, City Limits Radio, Alhaji Babukar Cham, and Fabakari Kale, chairperson of the NYC board, centered on key areas ranging from maintaining cultural values, responsible citizenship, prerequisites for national development, and personal progress, as well as the attitude of indifference towards social cultural values among young people. Community elders such as alcalos, councillors, imams, and other parents were happy to be reminded of their responsibilities towards their children. According to them, they will pass on the messages delivered at the various gatherings to help mold the cream of the nation. Mariam Fall, youth leader of Lower Salem, urged both young people and parents to go back and see where the problem is and fix it before it's too late. The chief of Lower Salem, Aji J. Toure, also echoed similar sentiments. Now that parents hardly have that much time to engage their children in discussions, a gathering like this remains significant in reminding young people about the norms and values that underpin the society. Rohibite, Grts News.
News from the Gambia, news from outside the Gambia is up next right after this break.
More than a tablet.
RLG, proudly yours.
Welcome back. Turkey is sheltering a massive number of refugees from Syria, and as anticipation intensifies about what intervention might take place against the Assad regime, more and more people are streaming into Turkey to escape the bloodshed. CNN's international correspondent Van Watson is at the Turkish border scrutinizing the escalating situation.
Exactly.
At one of the gates between Turkey and rebel-controlled Syria, and there's kind of a constant trickle of movement, not only into Turkey from Syria, but also out. You can see that there are some men waiting to go back into Syria. We've seen families moving both directions. Some of the families that have been coming out have told us that they're leaving because of the war, also because they're worried about the possibility of some kind of U.S. military operation, and in particular about the possibility of reprisals from Syrian government forces in the wake of such a potential U.S. military strike. But we've also talked to, and it's important to note, there's not a flood of refugees coming out because of this. There are more than 200,000 Syrian refugees currently living in camps inside Turkey, many more living unofficially outside of camps, but the Turkish government estimates only 200 to 300 are coming out of Syria a day these days, which is not a substantial difference. A lot of the people that are coming back and forth are actually rebel fighters, not carrying their weapons, but perhaps coming here to rest, for medical treatment, or to see their families who are refugees in Turkey. And one of them told us he is very much in favor of the U.S. military attacking the Syrian regime. Take a listen.
If Obama fight al-Assad and his government, good. Thank you very much. But if he want to fight us all, you know, this is
no good.
This is a red line.
And there's clearly some suspicion among some rebels, some concern that maybe if the U.S. military attacked the Syrian regime, it might also take that opportunity to attack some of the rebels who are affiliated with al-Qaeda groups. Some concern there.
Now, the al-Assad regime has controlled Syria for more than 40 years. It started with Hafez al-Assad, and now his son runs the country. But there is the current president's brother, who is known and feared as the family enforcer. Brian Todd has more.
Brute force inside the Syrian regime are connected not only to President Bashar al-Assad, but also to a man a couple of years younger, often by the president's side, always in the shadows, his brother Maher.
Maher is the kneecapper. He is in charge of keeping the regime in power.
Considered more brutal than his brother, the muscle in the family, Maher al-Assad commands the 4th Division and the Republican Guard, elite Syrian military units composed of mostly minority Alawite Muslims, the same sect as the Assad clan. But he's got something else in his portfolio.
Maher, as well as his cousins, have come to control what's called the Shabiha, or ghosts. They're Alawite paramilitary forces.
Forces that analysts say have carried out massacres of Syrian villagers. Maher's actions once led Turkey's prime minister to publicly slam him, saying he's, quote, chasing after savagery. Ted Katouf is a former U.S. ambassador to Syria who's met with the Assad family.
What is the real influence that he personally has over his brother?
I think his brother has to be wary of him because he's a hothead. And he's known to be a hothead, and he's known not to have particularly great judgment. But you know, when you're head of a mafia-like regime, you depend upon enforcers.
A role Maher's relished, experts say, for many years. There's one legendary account of the time his sister was set to marry someone who wasn't exactly up to the family's standards.
He is said to have shot his brother-in-law in the stomach in the early days, before the brother-in-law was his brother-in-law, but was trying to marry Bushra. And the father did not approve of the marriage, thought he was low, and Maher was already the enforcer before the father died.
The brother-in-law was killed in a rebel bomb attack on the Syrian cabinet a year ago. Maher was believed to have been wounded in that attack and hasn't been seen since.
We don't even know. There was rumors that his leg was blown off, he was badly wounded. This could be true. We don't know exactly what condition he is in today.
If Maher al-Assad is still alive and still helping his brother, they'd be following a menacing family tradition. Their late father, dictator Hafez al-Assad, placed his own brother, Rifat, as head of some important Syrian security units. Rifat al-Assad was reported as a key figure behind a 1982 massacre in the city of Hama, in which tens of thousands of Syrian civilians were killed. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
A teenage boy has been convicted in what is a notorious Delhi gang rape case. A medical student attacked by 5 men on a bus. You may recall early last year, December, sparked an outrage across India. Now the victim later died at a